ideologically, I'm way away from everyone else. I'm outside the norm. I'm outside the box. I'm outside the box that the box is in, motherfuckers. I'm way out there. I'm out in the stratosphere, you know? And people fear ideas that are different. They don't need to fear them because it's not like I'm amassing some huge band of followers. It's not like everyone's like looking to me as some kind of leader or something. I pose no threat to the status quo. I'm just myself. I'm just a man or a boy. Just a boy, just a boy, just a little fucking boy. I can never be a man.
Interesting. Thomas James Kirk III was born on the 20th of February 1985 in California, but would move to Louisiana early in life and be raised in this state. TJ was a rebellious child who would get in trouble at school for not respecting the teachers. He says that he didn't really have any friends when he was younger, as he was more interested in creating personas and characters. While he was young, he was I'm not too sure of the details of this, but TJ said that this was a one-time thing in his words. He seems to have had a turbulent childhood, mainly with his father, who TJ claims would mistreat him. One day he would be shouting at him for no reason, making TJ feel powerless and inadequate. Then the next day he would be giving him words of encouragement to make him feel on top of the world. As a teenager, his father would pay him and his brother $40 a week to work full-time at the family business. So at this stage, we're just going to take a quick little detour to investigate his father and the family business, as it's pretty interesting and I think it sheds a lot of light on the things that are to come later on in the story. Thomas James Kirk II operated a university in California in the 1980s. This was no ordinary university though. In this prestigious centre of learning, Mr. Kirk would give out engineering degrees based on just looking at their resume, or give out law degrees based on completing exams designed for legal assistants. This went on for a while until Time magazine did a report on the university, quoting Mr. Kirk as saying he had no interest as an educator, but school was a good way to make money. After this, he left California and moved to Louisiana, where he renamed the university and placed it under the ownership of a religious group that he created called World Christian Church. He did this in order to get religious exemption from state education laws. He then took a vow of poverty before God in order to follow Christ's example. The university would tick over nicely in Louisiana and Mr. Kirk was anything but poor, but sadly this would come to an end in the 1990s due to a large amount of government workers being awarded promotions and pay rises based on fraudulent degrees. His business was so successful that the FBI started to investigate it and discovered that the university had given out over 40,000 fake degrees, most of which were to high-level government workers. The school was then raided and shut down in 1996, with Mr. Kirk being arrested. This university was what is known as a diploma mill. At the school, there was only one member of faculty who served 15,000 students. This member of faculty only had one degree. You guessed it, her degree was a fake degree from this university. Mr. Kirk was charged with 18 crimes, including mal, fraud and tax evasion. During the investigation, it was found that World Christian Church had more than $35 million in bank deposits and $10 million in cash and other assets. That's quite the vow of poverty. I think I'm in the wrong business. After a plea agreement, Mr. Kirk was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Shortly after he was sent to prison, his new wife opened an unaccredited distance education institution, which operated from a rented mailbox in Honolulu. Nice. Gotta keep the family business going, I guess. Some of the more notable people that got degrees from Mr. Kirk's diploma mill include a nutritionist who advised the US Olympic swimming team, a Massachusetts school superintendent. For my British viewers, the TV hypnotist Paul McKenna apparently got a degree from this place, and the president of a university in Illinois. Well, I bet you weren't expecting this side quest when you clicked on this video. Anyway, back to the main story. TJ claims that his father helped to teach him how to manipulate people, but that his father wanted to use this skill to get people to do what he wanted, whereas TJ used this skill to get people to believe what he believed, as he felt alone and like no one else in the world thought the way that he did. TJ was always very disconnected from people at school and socially overall. So he dropped out of school at the age of 16 with the hopes of being an author. And I guess he could always just get a degree from his father if he needed it. Well, as things turned out, his life would take an unexpected turn. On the 23rd of April 2005, the very first video was uploaded to a brand new website named YouTube. This video is titled Me at the Zoo and shows one of the creators of YouTube at the zoo. It could be argued that this moment was a paradigm shift in the world, one of the landmark moments that humanity was able to share its thoughts in unison, creating an organic neural network that would shape the future in previously unimaginable ways. This is what the unenlightened mind may think, but for those of us in the know, the true paradigm shift happened on the 20th of November 2006, when T J Kirk set up a YouTube channel named The Amazing Atheist. TJ claims that when he started this channel, he was an angry loner who used it as a kind of therapy, speaking his mind into the void of the still new website. TJ had first mover advantage on YouTube and was helped even more by the popular genre that he had chosen. The new atheist movement had been growing since the early 2000s thanks to the work of people like Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens. TJ arrived on YouTube at the peak of the new atheists, a time when books like The God Delusion were being published and popular debates were being held all over the world. TJ was the unrefined, less intelligent Christopher Hitchens, appealing to the common man with angry rants rather than witty wordplay. At this stage in his life, he was a libertarian who would approach his criticism of religion from this viewpoint. But sadly, all of the videos from this time period have now been deleted due to his use of racial slurs. The first upload that now appears on his channel is an interview with Shirley Phelps Roper, who is a well-known member of the Westboro Baptist Church. TJ's brand of having the camera really close to his face and taking down Christianity while being self-deprecating proved to be popular, and his channel would grow from strength to strength.
I'm basically your average, everyday person, I guess. You know, aside from the, insanity and actual IQ and the triple digits, I guess. And I even seen a few people that are more arrogant and just all around than I am, so I figure if these people can actually get halfway liked on YouTube, maybe I have a chance too. Probably not, but, because I'm sure I'm more arrogant than I even realize I am.
TJ would make many videos pointing out the contradictions in the Bible and trying to convert people to atheism, but weirdly his big break came from a video titled Transformers 5! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, lots of exclamation marks. In this video he plays with toiletries pretending that they are Transformers. That's it. That's the whole video. YouTube was a very different place 16 years ago. This video has been viewed more than 7 million times over its lifespan and remains The Amazing Atheist's most viewed video to this day.
I am your friend. I have come to save the human race from the evil lotion dispensatron. No, we meet again. Blah, 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 blah.
When a high comes, sadly it is followed by a low, and the next video that he would post is to tell his viewers that his father had died of a heart attack.
We either have to pull the plug or he would be, they said he had a minimal chance of survival, but he would most likely have brain damage, and he wouldn't have wanted that. So I probably won't be around for a while. The only reason I'm making this video now is because I really just don't know what else to do with myself. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and cry on the camera and all that. Maybe at some future date, because it is good entertainment, I have to admit.
His father's death seems to have been somewhat of a turning point for TJ. This is the time that he turned away from being a libertarian to become a liberal. While at the hospital visiting his father, he would see poor people queuing at the emergency room and started to believe that social programs are sometimes necessary. He has also stated that his stepmother attempted to steal the family's wealth after his father's death, and he doesn't really seem to like her very much. After TJ's grieving, he would get back to making videos again. These videos have the charm of YouTube of old. Low production quality, a normal person just speaking his mind about whatever he felt like with no filter. His videos ranged from comedy skits to religion, topical news to the top 10 cereals of all time.
Number 2, Peanut Butter Crunch. It's the color of fetus. Nuff said. And the number 1 breakfast cereal of all time is Count Chocula.
All of his videos had one thing in common. TJ was always obnoxious and combative no matter what the topic he was talking about was. He would rant about anything and everything and his viewers loved him for it. Or maybe love is a bit strong. Even like might be a bit too much. But TJ was entertaining to watch, so more and more people would watch him, anticipating the next outrageous thing he would say, the next group that would fall victim to his venomous tongue. TJ had a popular series called Pwned, or sometimes Pwnage. This odd-sounding word means to own or dominate your opponent, and this is just what TJ would do. He would robustly pwn random people on the internet, serving up pints of pwnage with the pony being left cold and pwned on the floor as TJ celebrated yet another pwning victory.
What? What? Mario is a fictional character, but he also exists! You hear that creepy face? Mario's real! Congratulations, Internet! Mario is real! Let's... Mario! It's a me! Mario! It's a me! I'm real now! I'm a fictional character, but I'm also somehow real!
In case you were wondering, TJ owns a katana and a fedora. Moving on, the Amazing Atheist was a rising star in the online atheist scene. He wasn't here to change people's minds really, he was more on a mission to upset and outrage what he saw as the existing narrative, to flip the board over and let the pieces settle where they may. His videos were rage bait, the kind of content that was very successful in the early days of YouTube, long before the all-powerful algorithm started to punish such sins. Hate clicks were just as good as any other clicks, so no topic was out of bounds for TJ, but as the name of his channel suggests, a lot of his content would revolve around religion, Christianity and Islam being the most common victims. By 2009 he had gained a lot of notoriety, so was invited to join a website called That Guy With Glasses, on which TJ would adopt a persona called The Distressed Watcher and do reviews of movie trailers. This didn't go too well for TJ, and in 2011 he was removed from the site after the website's audience started many petitions to have him removed. Things weren't all bad though, as back on his main channel he made a catchy little tune about blueberry pies.
Blueberry pie, everybody loved a blueberry pie. Everybody loved a blueberry pie. Everybody loved a blueberry pie. All right.
The banana argument is an argument used by some Christians to prove the intelligent design theory due to bananas having the perfect form and function for humans to use. Most notably, a Christian named Ray Comfort claims that the banana was the atheist nightmare. Sadly for Ray, bananas have been selectively bred by humans to have the perfect form and function for us, with wild bananas not being the easy to eat treat that most of us are used to. Ray was kind of correct though, as the banana was the nightmare of one particular atheist. That's right, our buddy TJ. In 2011, a video started to get passed around the image boards of 4chan, showing TJ proving that bananas have the perfect form and function for other orifices than the mouth. A chocolate covered banana, if you will. This video was spread far and wide across the internet and is probably what TJ is most known for, with people still talking about it to this day, mainly being the punchline of some kind of joke. The amazing Atheist would make a video to address this incident, saying that he made this video to share with women that he was talking to online, and that he was not ashamed of doing this at the time, so he sees no reason to be ashamed of it now. He said this while eating a banana.
The things that I did because I enjoy them. I wasn't ashamed of them when I was doing them in private. I see no reason to be ashamed of them now that they've been made public. You know, and when the leak happened and I saw that it wasn't going to be contained, that it was going to spread like wildfire, I figure, well, who cares? My fans are pretty cool. They'll know what's up. They're not going to judge me for this.
This video seems to have split opinions. To the American viewers watching, I have an English accent. Therefore, the things that I say are inherently witty and smart. Therefore, this banana split pun that I've just made is intrinsically clever, and I shall hear no other opinion to the contrary of this. Anyway, guiding myself back to the topic, some people were gleeful that he admitted the wrong deed, and others embraced his honesty. Myself, I'm grateful for this video, as it means I didn't need to watch the banana video to verify it, so thanks for that, TJ. If you're watching, I doubt that you are. My eyes are a little less tainted than they otherwise would have been. I have also seen reports that this video shows him pouring hot oil onto a very small part of his body. A micro part of his body, some have said, but I'm unsure if this is true or not. Anyway, let's take a quick break from the timeline and look at some other notable things about this story in no particular order. One of the things that TJ is most known for is e-begging. He would ask his viewers to buy him stuff from Amazon or just give him money fairly regularly. One time he claimed that he wanted to make a documentary where he goes on a road trip interviewing famous atheists and creationists, but needed money to make this idea become a reality. So he did a photo shoot, wrote a manifesto and set up a donation button in order to raise the funds for this documentary. And his fans gave him thousands of dollars. But TJ never made this documentary and instead denied any memory of this event. Another time, his YouTube channel kept on getting suspended due to the outrageous things that he would say. So he decided to start his own website where he could post whatever he liked. But sadly, he didn't have enough money to make this happen. So he started a fundraiser. One of the ways that he raised money was to do a live stream with his friends. They all started to drink a lot, then kissed each other, repeatedly said slurs that began with N, banned people in the chat for not donating enough money, drunkenly started to play with knives, then started to play with loaded guns, with one of his friends pointing the gun at himself and others, demanding that people donate or he'll do something bad. Then this friend lacerated his own arm for some reason and started to feel faint. So the live stream was ended and he was taken to hospital. You know, the classic way to raise funds for a startup business, no big deal. Somehow TJ would get enough money to open his website Free Speech Vids, which lasted for 16 months but didn't do too well due to low bandwidth, lack of a dedicated server and lack of sufficient security. So the website was closed down. TJ didn't make any attempt to refund anyone that donated and instead insulted everyone that was a member of the website. One of TJ's best friends claimed that TJ misappropriated the donations. After the failure of the first website, or the success of the first website, depending on which way you view it from, TJ decided to try again and raised funds for a website called Not Productive. It is estimated that he raised $17,000 for this website. This was to be a place where he would get other content creators to post quality videos. The cream of the crop. People like the Ranting Robots, who are two fully grown men who dress like robots and talk to their fully grown viewers about religion.
And that's what our concept, Not Productive, is. It's a place for high quality content.
We are the Ranting Robots, we are atheists, and the human Bible is complete and other nonsense.
That's money well spent right there. Unsurprisingly, the website didn't do very well. This website was shut down after 2 weeks due to it being full of bugs and glitches. TJ also has a few other YouTube channels, one of which is called TJ Does Life, and the other is a gaming channel called T J Kirk. He also got to fulfill his childhood dream dream of being an author, with such unforgettable titles as Neckbeard Uprising, Musing of a Subhuman, and The Douchebag Bible. He is apparently also a songwriter who has written lyrics for other people. So, back to the timeline. In 2011, he started to upload a new kind of content speaking about how everything was offensive these days. This type of content was just sprinkled in every now and again, with his channel still mostly being him ranting about random things. Then he made a video titled, "It's Only Sexist When Men Do It." This video was a big success for TJ, so he started to make more videos of this kind, with this new type of content getting noticeably more views than his other stuff that he was making. His channel had found a new lease of life and began to grow more and more. By 2012 he had reached over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he was making waves on other websites as well. On Reddit he would say some very harsh things to a woman who claims to have been in the past. I'm sure that YouTube wouldn't like me to go into details of this, but it really wasn't very nice. This incident sparked outrage on the internet and led to TJ deleting his Reddit account and doing a public apology to the lady in question. It would also spark outrage again in 2012, this time on his Tumblr blog, when he mocked a young lady named Amanda Todd who had committed. In 2013 he would appear on CNN to talk about the rise of atheism in the USA, and also in 2013 he had a mass takedown event where loads of his YouTube videos were deleted for hate speech. I'm guessing this is why all of his old YouTube videos were deleted. The advent of Gamergate was a big turning point for our buddy TJ. He began to make more and more videos bashing the SJWs, melting the snowflakes and boiling their essence down to leave pure ad revenue. Anti-social justice warrior videos were big business at this time, and TJ would be at the front line in the culture war. He would still make his other kind of content as well for a while, but seemingly just adding the word feminist to one of his titles would add a few 100,000 views. So over time his channel became mostly about destroying the SJWs.
Offensive language, offensive content, offensive subject matter, offensive jokes, offensive dogs barking in the background. Everything is so very offensive.
This was the real peak of the Amazing Atheist channel, and TJ would strike while the iron was hot, creating a new podcast called The Drunken Peasants, which would gain success in its own right. He was already a well-known internet personality, but now he was one of the cool anti-SJW people, invited to all of the cool anti-SJW parties, most notably appearing on the Joe Rogan podcast. Another rising anti-SJW star was the flamboyantly homosexual right-wing conservative Milo Yiannopoulos. He would appear on the Drunken Peasants podcast and claim to have seduced a priest when he was younger, which would lead to him being cancelled.
We talked about Milo last time I was on your show, and you told me, you kind of put the seed in my brain like, he's kind of like fake. And the more I've looked into it, the more I have to question whether or not that with the priest even happened to begin with.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't really trust the that comes out of his mouth in terms of like face value.
TJ was now a firm fixture of the culture wars, and his channel would mainly become about this topic. He was in his element, being outrageous and breaking social taboos. So this was a good fit for him, with most of his top videos being from around this era, apart from his masterpiece about shaving foam being a transformer, of course. One of his most popular trends that I remember from this time period was him answering dumb questions from websites like BuzzFeed. These videos would get many millions of views for him and were pretty entertaining at the time.
Today we're going to look at a video called 20 Questions Black People Have for White People That BuzzFeed Didn't Ask.
36 questions women have for men.
It's time to answer some more questions that black people have for white people. Questions Muslims have for non-Muslim. 26 questions Asians have for white people.
35 questions black people have for white people.
33 questions that white people have for white people? What? It looks like we're drawing to the close of this here answer series. There's only one of these painful videos left.
9 questions Native Americans have for white people.
Alas, all good things must come to an end, and the interest in SJW bashing would fade away over time. In the twilight of his popularity, he would leave the Drunken Peasants podcast and start a new one called Deep Fat Fried. The bio of this channel reads, an educational show made by and for the uneducated. Why learn from a stodgy professor when you can get your information from 3 neckbeard stoners who probably don't know what they're talking about? This is a pretty fair assessment from the podcast from what I have seen. On his old channel, it started to become clear that he needed to pivot his content, so he started to make his old style videos again, him ranting about random stuff, but these would get less views than his SJW glory days. The most popular videos that he would make in this time period would be anti-Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro content, but these were a shadow of his former view count. His channel was now on the decline and things would only get worse for him from here. The Amazing Atheist YouTube channel now had over 1 million subscribers, but trouble was on the horizon. TJ had always been somewhat of a left-wing guy, but his paths had crossed with right-wing circles due to the anti-snowflake content. So now he was left with many right-wing subscribers but making anti-right-wing content, which meant that he would start to shed followers. This really came to a head in 2020 when he voiced support for the George Floyd riots, which made many of his followers unsubscribe and took him below the 1 million mark. He then started to go all in on purging his right-wing followers by making videos mocking right-wing memes. These turned out to be one of his more popular video types, getting around 30,000 views each. The production quality of his videos had improved and he was now making many videos in strange costumes. But the world had moved on. The angry, nihilistic, know-it-all rants of a middle-aged man were just not what people wanted in the 2020s. They preferred an extremely good-looking, witty, intelligent and modest British man talking about the angry, nihilistic, know-it-all rants of a middle-aged man. Or at least that's what I'll keep telling myself. TJ was now fully embracing his left-wing side, so much so that he would blaspheme against the atheist idol Richard Dawkins. TJ didn't like Richard's views on gender, so TJ painted a giant eye on his forehead and live streamed him deconstructing Dawkins' view on this topic. I'm not sure if this was always the case, but TJ now seemed to be very anti-capitalist, and in a very Mephistophelian statement he said that capitalism should perish from the earth. His most popular video from this time period is titled How I Created the Anti-SJW Genre and Almost Destroyed the World. In this video he claims to have pretty much invented the anti-SJW genre, but now regrets it as he was unaware that the movement was full of right-wing extremists who really just wanted to turn the clock back to the 1950s. He also thinks that this movement was a big part as to why Trump was elected.
I think if you were tracing back the genealogical origins of anti-SJW content on YouTube, the genesis of it would likely be a video that I made several years ago called It's Only Sexist When Men Do It. I never really understood that there were nefarious characters, nefarious actors within the sort of genre that I created that were trying to subvert it for extremist political positioning.
TJ's views on censorship also seem to have changed now. He was once very anti any form of censorship, but now thinks that there should be a government agency who decides what information is true and if that information does harm to society.
I think that what needs to happen is this. There needs to be a government administration that is made up entirely of scientists who are appointed to their position based on the merits of their scientific achievements and not based on their politics. The fact-check administration, okay? The FCA. The FCA should have the power to determine if any given claim is incontrovertibly false and if it is socially deleterious. If they find that a claim is both incontrovertibly false and socially deleterious, then they should be empowered to stop its spread by any reasonable means.
TJ still pumps out content to this day, but has gone from getting millions of views to now getting only thousands of views each upload. The Amazing Atheist channel has been a very successful endeavour for TJ. He currently has 951,000 subscribers and a total of 441 million views across 2,762 videos, which is good going by anyone's standards. When you see these kind of numbers, it's easy to think that he has dropped off in his later career, which undoubtedly is true, but he still gets thousands of views, which when you think about it is a lot. I catch myself getting caught up in these ridiculous internet numbers sometimes and thinking that if one of my videos get 40,000 views it is some kind of failure, which is a pretty weird way that the internet tricks your brain. 40,000 of anything is a lot. If I had 40,000 meat pies I wouldn't be able to eat them all. If I got 40,000 kisses on the forehead one after the other it would probably start to hurt after a while. I'm sure it wouldn't hurt as much as the 0 kisses that I get at the moment though. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this really. I guess I'm just saying he's not doing as bad as you may think he is at first. Thousands is still a lot. TJ has an outrageous online persona which I guess has served him well over the years, but when I've watched interviews with him he seems like a far more chilled out and down to earth guy when he's not playing this nihilistic edgelord character. I'm not a religious man, but on an instinctive level I view the new atheists with a certain amount of contempt. Selfish people engaged in the barbarism of reflection, deconstructing the foundations on which our society was built for their own self-interests, without any foresight as to what will fill the void that is left. The ideas that came before them built a nice comfortable tree house, and they are obsessed with chopping down the tree that it rests upon. This kind of thing is nothing new. It has happened to the ancient Greeks, the Romans, the Muslims and many others. Now it is our turn to dissect ourselves into oblivion. Hooray, what a time to be alive. It's not all black pills though. At least we get to laugh at the deconstructioners making bananas disappear. Like all good fruit, the balance of life is in the ripened ruin, I guess. On that point, the way that TJ handled the whole banana incident is pretty good, I think. He just owned it and made a joke of the whole thing, disarming those who would wield it as a weapon against him, kind of. When my cucumber videos get leaked, I hope that I handle it as well as him. The Amazing Atheist is still active on YouTube and no doubt is hoping to regain the glory years again. So let's wish him the best with this endeavour and hope that he stays away from bananas in the future.
For me, I want other people to think the way I do because, I don't know, I feel alone in the world a lot. I feel like my point of view is never reflected anywhere else. So I figure that if no one else is espousing my values and my belief system, then it's up to me. It's up to me to make that happen in the world. But I don't know, maybe I have had some measure of success. Maybe the seeds I've planted will take root and one day, thanks to me, something will change.
If you're wondering about the kind of people that the Amazing Atheist has influenced over the years, then check out this video about Amos Yee. He is an unusual person. A big thanks to the channel members and the Patreons, and a special thanks to these two people who have been members for 19 months, which is crazy to think about. I have a very bad conception of time, and to think that I've been doing this for 19 months is wild. 19 months is over 2 years. That's a pretty long time. A super duper big thanks for everyone for watching, and bye bye.
There was a sort of naivete to that age of YouTube.